Hey, one of the biggest things I really struggled to understand with the Philadelphia Eagles offense this season was what you're looking at right here, the phenomenal success in the red zone. Now, this is touchdowns only. This isn't touchdowns and field goals, okay? So look at this number. This is ridiculous. 70.21%, number one in the NFL. And yet, we look at how bad the offense has looked all season long with Kevin Patullo. We know about the leading the league in three and outs and so on and so forth. The lack of the running game, Saquon Barkley being a disaster for most of the season, and I don't mean that in just Saquon as in he was terrible. It was the play calling, the offensive line, and all of that, and on and on. And yet, this, please, someone make sense of this because in addition to this, and this is what I mean about the rest of the offense, is if we go to scoring attempts per game, right? And we got to go down and down and down, and you can see all the way at 28. Only four teams below them. The New York Jets, yep. Cleveland Browns, Las Vegas Raiders, Tennessee Titans. Do you know what that means? That is a combined record. Those four teams sitting below the Philadelphia Eagles, the only four teams sitting below the Philadelphia Eagles, a combined record this season of 14 and 54. The dichotomy between so few times in the red zone because of a really bad offense and leading the league in touchdown percentage in the red zone. Absolutely wild. Think about this, man. What would the Eagles' record be if they weren't first in the league in TD percentage in the red zone when they are 28th in attempts? So it's like, well, how is this possible? Well, I might have an idea for you, and it kind of plays in. Main reason I'm doing this is because it does maybe play in to the offensive coordinator situation, depending on who is available out there and who the Eagles want, because we have this, and shout out to mostly Eagles tweets out there. There are whispers that the red zone offense was not actually Kevin Patullo. Now, look, to be fair, I'm sort of running with a rumor here because it just makes so much sense to me and looking at these numbers. How did we get here? But apparently, there are people going out there saying, this might not have been Kevin Matullo. It looks like it might be Scott Loeffler. And there are people who are talking about Scott might be the guy for OC if we were to promote from within again in his relationship with Jalen Hurts. So, we have here whispers the red zone plays were designed by someone else. Not all, but SL had a big hand in it. And then here we get this as well, which is really interesting. And I'll play this a couple of times because it is similar. Now, look, the NFL, we all know football is a copycat league and all of that. So this isn't definitive proof, but it is interesting because this is Bowling Green at the top. And then, of course, the Eagles. And guess who coached Bowling Green last year? Right? So if you look at the top, and it's slightly different, but again, look at I, I'll run it twice because you obviously have two plays to look at it. But one, the handoff, the guy's coming from the left. The Eagles, yeah, coming from the left of the formation. The Eagles, Barkley's coming from the right of the formation. But in both of them, you get the tight end that slides up, and boom, touchdown. Right? Very similar looking plays in the red zone. We know the Eagles were very effective. I mean, think back to it. What are some of the plays that you thought, whoa, where is that? Where has that been? Why aren't we doing that? It has been in the red zone, and Dallas Goddard has been a big part of that. In fact, I think let me see if I can find it. Uh, hold on one second. Check out these numbers for Dallas Goddard. Dallas Goddard red zone targets last 5 seasons: 6, 8, 10, 9, 15 this year. Targets inside the 10, 3, 3, 3, 3, 9 this year. So interesting with those numbers. It's interesting also because with his relationship with Jalen Hurts, Scott is someone that could be a dark horse for the offensive coordinator job. We've got other names that are being talked about now. We've heard recently. We've got Declan Doyle, who is with the Chicago Bears. That is a potential candidate. He's the offensive coordinator there, but I don't believe he's ever called plays because you had Ben Johnson calling the plays. But Doyle has coached under Sean Payton, who likes him. He's coached under Ben Johnson, who liked him. I know both have promoted him rather quickly. Payton took him from New Orleans to Denver, if I'm not mistaken. So there's another option at offensive coordinator as well. Because look, I just don't see the Eagles making a splash with a big name, right? We've heard about that. I think there are too many issues going on with Nick Sirianni and his interference with the offense that it's not worth the headache for some of these guys like a Brian Dable or Mike McDaniel who could get a job elsewhere. Now, one problem with Doyle, of course, is let me know you've heard this before. He's never called plays in the NFL, right? I think we all just went through that this season and we didn't really like the experience, right? Um, their last two play callers were first time play callers. And again, I say that is exactly by design for Nick Sirianni because he wants to control the offense and call the plays without taking the responsibility for doing so. That is why we've got those guys. So unfortunately, I think Doyle would be another coach like that, which is a shame because he could go on somewhere else and be, one of those wizards that we all talk about, and he ends up getting a head coaching job, but before he's 35 and, takes somebody to a Super Bowl. But that's just the way it is sometimes. So, but we've still got guys like Kafka that they're talking about. Matt Nagy is an intriguing one. Now, look, obviously Andy Reid is calling the plays in Kansas City, but at this point, Matt Nagy may be the biggest name for the Philadelphia Eagles out there in terms of, trying to make a splash at the offensive coordinator as opposed to getting someone like Doyle, which is no offense to Doyle, but I think the Eagles fan base right now with what we've had with Brian Johnson and Kevin Patullo is going to be conditioned to reject that, be conditioned to be like, yeah, here we go. We're running it back. Nick Sirianni's going to be the guy again. The offense is not going to look good despite the talent that we have on the roster. Obviously, Matt Nagy is someone who's been around. He's been with Andy Reid. He's been here. He's been in the building. So is Kafka. Are they inspiring choices? Are we all the Eagles fans gonna be like, "Oh yeah, this is fantastic"? No, but I don't think we're gonna get that with an offensive coordinator this time around. I almost still, and I don't. It's not gonna happen. But you almost got to think now is the time to relieve Nick Sirianni of his duty as head coach because I think it will happen at the end of next season anyway. You know what I mean? I think we'll go through another struggle, and then that'll be it for the Nick Sirianni uh, reign, and then the Eagles clean house, and we start over. And that rebuild we thought wasn't coming for a while, we hoped with the Super Bowl window, it happens. But we'll see. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you checking out the video. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Oh, and big question is, what do you think about the legitimacy of Scotty Loeffler with the calls in the red zone when you look at those numbers? Let me know.